Martyrs of divine grace, founder of ISKCON, Charnadavinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda ki, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki, their most merciful Lordship Shri Śrīla Bihari ki, Shri Jagannath, Shri Baladev Mahi Subhadra ki, Shri Nathaji, Shri Balagopal ki, Shri Gaurnitai ki, Nitai Go Prem. All goodies to the assembled. All goodies to the assembled. All glories to the assembled. All glories to the Lord's feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jaya mudiraya Nasta prasya bhadreshu Nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtaki
ISKCON.
Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, Text 7. The chapter is entitled, How Parikshit Received the Age of Kali. Sudrayusam Nirnam Anga Sudrayusam Nirnam Anga Martyanam Ritam Ichatam Martyanam Ritam Ichatam Iho Pahuto Bhagavan Iho Pahuto Bhagavan Murtyu Samitra Karmani Mrityu Samitra Karmani Sudrayusam Nirnamanga Sudrayusam Nirnamanga Martyanam Ritamichitam Martyanam Ritamichitam Iho Pahuto Bhagavan Iho Pahuto Bhagavan Murtyo Samitra Karmani Murtyo Samitra Karmani. Please chant.
Sudrayusam Nrinamanga
Sudrayusam Nrinamanga Martyanam Ritamichatam Vaho Pahuto Bhagavan Mrityu Samitra Karmani Sudrayusam Nirnamanga Martyanam Ritama Ichitam Iho Pahuto Bhagavan Mrityu Samitra Karmani Sudra. Very small. Ayusam of the duration of life.
Sorry?
Of the duration of life.
Of the duration of life.
Nirna of the human being.
Of the human being.
Anga, O Sukta Goswami. Martyanam of those who are sure to meet death.
Of those who are sure to meet death.
Ritam, eternal life. Ichatam, of those who desire it.
Of those who desire it.
Iha, herein. Upahuta, called for being present. Bhagavan, representing the Lord. Mrityu, the controller of death, Yamarāja. Samitra, suppressing. Karmani, performances. Sudrayusam Nirnamanga Martyanam Ritamichitam Iho Pahuto Bhagavan Murtyo Samitra Karmani. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnadavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda. O Sutta Goswami, there are those amongst men who desire freedom from death and get eternal life. They escape the slaughtering process by calling the controller of death Yamarāja. Please repeat. O Sutta Goswami, there are those among men who desire freedom from death and get eternal life. They escape the slaughtering process by calling the controller of death Yamarāja. O Sutta Goswami, there are those amongst men who desire freedom from death and get eternal life. They escape the slaughtering process by calling the controller of death Yamarāja. Purport. The living entity, as he develops from lower animal life to a higher human being and gradually to higher intelligence, becomes anxious to get free from the clutches of death. Modern scientists try to avoid death by psychochemical advancement of knowledge, but alas, the controller of death, Yamarāja, is so cruel that he does not spare even the very life of the scientist himself. The scientist who puts forward the theory of stopping death by advancement of scientific knowledge becomes himself a victim of death when he is called by Yamarāja. To speak of stopping death, no one can enhance the short period of life, even by a fraction of a moment. The only hope of suspending the cruel slaughtering process of Yamarāja is to call him to hear and chant the holy name of the Lord. Yamarāja is a great devotee of the Lord, and he likes to be invited to kirtans and sacrifices by the pure devotees who are constantly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Thus the great sages, headed by Sanaka and others, invited Yamarāja to attend the sacrifice performed at Namasharanya. This was good for those who did not want to die. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshushunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. So here we are once again coming face to face with the fact that this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is given for human beings to prepare for the next life and the eternalness that will be by those who call out to the Lord for such deliverance and protection, which is what this Maha Mantra is given for, and this verse is pointing that out. Distinctly apart from those who are seeking the heavenly pleasures of this world and the world beyond, basically, which is why people are taking up ritualistic ceremonies. They want some benediction for the activities they're engaging in, and this is what might be called a Lloyd service to the Lord. It's tainted with desire. So Krishna gives us our desires, and that becomes our reward. And with the realization of the presence of Krishna, when a soul actually gains presence of Krishna, then comes with it the appreciation and the knowledge of what that presence actually means. Krishna being all-powerful. Can you imagine? It's hard for us, even in our minds, we're coming to see Krishna every morning and serving him. But to picture him as having full control of everything that is. And yet that's the position the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also declaring himself to be in that position. From him everything is emanating. All the universes in a universal form. All the planets in this form inside this universe, emanating from his navel. With this statement being made, see, here's the problem. The intent people have on their pursuits can in fact determine the outcome of their pursuit, which is not fully recognized by modern day psychology. But see, this is the difference between one taking part in religious activities with the hope of getting something in return, and one who is going by sense of obligation by sense of desire to want to know God, by sense of wanting to perform activities that God would be pleased with. So these are all different perspectives that human beings take in their fulfillment of what they feel is their required responsibilities towards God and following the laws that they are given according to time and circumstance that they are able to follow. So what people don't find themselves capable of following as a whole society, then Krishna sends leaders among them who can bring them to a step higher than where they are. And we see this being done in, practically speaking, every society in the world. Now he's come to give full knowledge of love of God, full knowledge of the abilities that God is in us to fulfill activities that in the future will be required of us. And we don't take it like that now. We take it as something we have a choice over. But when worldly calamities come and the forces of nature manifest such that all human beings have to work together, all human beings. That's what the prophecies of the most ancients are saying is coming. And, you know, if you analyze how long lawlessness, see, from a devotee's perspective, even the aspects of society that are considered to be conducting themselves within the law are breaking the laws of God every time they eat a meal. Every time they eat a meal, they are becoming responsible for the life, or in most cases, the lives, plural, of that which their bodies require to continue its existence. And so we take it for granted that these things are given to mankind for his sustenance, just like it's given to the animals. But we are above the animals with knowledge of how these things are produced and where they originated from. Without that knowledge, we have little means of knowing what to offer as thankfulness. But that's why Krishna sends personal associates who know what pleases God. And that's where we have this Krishna consciousness movement, revealing to all of mankind now a stature, you'd say, or a level of advancement for mankind to be given the knowledge of how to attain a level of perfection beyond that which was previously attained in previous ages. Because the brahminical procedures given for those who take part in Krishna conscious activities in the International Society of Krishna Consciousness are activities that are described as going on in the spiritual world as well. And so this is the benefit of using this human form of life to conduct ourselves in activities that actually have an eternal function in the spiritual world, so that when we leave these bodies, we will be ready to go to the spiritual world, where there is no birth, death, old age, and disease, no sickness, no failures, everything, perfection. And every soul there is knowing its eternal purpose and its place, and revealing its place by all of the activities that are going on there. And we are being told that the form that we can abide in eternally there can be a form that is singing and glorifying glorious names of Kṛṣṇa. Every name of Kṛṣṇa describing a particular activity that Kṛṣṇa took part in to help mankind in some way, and also in doing that to fulfill his own innermost desires, to manifest what pure love emanating from the source of all love actually is when it's manifested in human form. And that's what his relationship, Kṛṣṇa's relationship with Śrīmati Radharani revealed in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, but most importantly in the Kṛṣṇa book. Sukadeva Goswami had to be very careful about speaking Śrīmati Radharani's name, otherwise it would have hindered by the same experience that we're having with tears. You see, I couldn't even give class. And so this is the way, this is the nature of love. And this was for the protection of Maharaj Parikshit that Sukadeva Goswami restrained himself. And from just getting a little bit of a taste ourselves, we can see the necessity of that. Because see, that we feel we are losing when a loved one leaves this planet, in many cases, the loved one is gaining such a greater benefit than they had ever believed possible, in some cases. I'm not giving percentages here. We don't know how many are going up and how many are going lower. There's many upper planetary planets in the planetary system. There's many lower planets in the planetary system. They're not just one place, and for specific activities. Just like on this planet, man-made laws give specific lengths of punishment to those who take part in specific acts. So punishment for theft is not as severe as punishment for someone causing the death of another entity. But what we don't know when I say we, as a society, as a world society, I'm taking part in interaction with human beings that are on the same planet with one another. And every day I interact with people from all over the world. And I see that we all have in common, for the most part, people who are at least wanting to live a productive, healthy, beneficial life. So when we say a human being's life is beneficial, we're talking about its ability to benefit others and not just themselves. And so when we talk about the ultimate benefit a human being could derive, is there any eternal benefit that we could conjure in our minds that we could derive? In our wildest imaginations, we don't have the ability of ourselves to create activities that would give us eternal benefit. But Kṛṣṇa, in so many statements he's making in these transcendental literatures, that there are activities that, and if he's true, he's controlling all the energies that be, all the laws that are, he has set the order of. And if we follow him and believe him to be true, my experience has been everything I've acted upon that I've been instructed was Kṛṣṇa's instructions to mankind. I've been benefited by. And see, this manner of judging other human beings and their level of advancement by their ability to benefit other human beings. This is built into Krishna. Think about it. Everything Krishna does is beneficial to other human beings. Every act he engages in. And so if we look at ourselves engaging in acts and we see ourselves that there are acts we've engaged in that are not necessarily beneficial for other human beings, we have to check our intents and the purposes of our hearts so that our purpose of our hearts will match what the Supreme Lord wants for all of us. He wants us all to be delivered. And he's giving us a process by which even the most fallen can find that deliverance. So it's up to us, those who have this process, to seek the divine guidance that Krishna gives, to know how it will be for us today, that we can go out and with everyone that we meet, give them something that Krishna has given us in the way of knowledge, in the way of a prod of love. Maybe you read something that's very meaningful to you, and your application of the precept to your concept of eternal wisdom. Share that with somebody, and that will invoke within them the desire to share with you. This is human existence. One human being sharing that treasure that they have found of knowledge and wisdom that goes beyond the value of anything in this world, and giving it as much as possible. And it increases by doing that. So this is the greatest treasure to know in life. The more love you give to others, the more you will experience love in return. But beware, love brings tears also from separation.
Pain.
Separation is a form of pain and suffering. So in order to love, you have to realize you're putting yourself in a position to suffer pain from the loss of such love. And that's what the story of Bhagavad Gita is all about. Srimati Radharani's and Lord Chaitanya's life is all about. Srimati Radharani's separation from Krishna. That's what love is all about. It's separation of we should be feeling here from Krishna also. See, her love reveals to us what we should be realizing pure love is. And so, automatically though, it comes as we develop the desire to purify our hearts. Automatically then the activities of our lives, by engaging in Krishna's devotional activities, then that purity of thought strengthens the outcome of our efforts that we make in Krishna consciousness. So everything just the same way at any work, anything you engage in, if you simply apply your attention to it, you will get better at it. So this is how, by being on the planet for a little longer time, we can be of greater value to those that are around us taking up the same process. So by our giving what we've learned to those, humankind then makes advancement. And what happens when Krishna comes, they are exposed to the means of being able to make the most advancement a human form of life has the ability to make. Some teachers, limited by the believers that they are teaching, are able to give knowledge to the degree that their students are able to receive it. Otherwise, it goes over their head. Nobody's receiving anything. So, some societies in the past have been at such stages of development, they've had to be told not to kill one another. They've had to be told not to steal from one another. And speaking evil even of one another. And then what to speak? Speaking evil of God. Yeah. Some acts we can get to the point of not being able to be freed from, because there's a determination made in the heart, and Kṛṣṇa himself sets the line. And when the soul crosses that line, he makes a place in the universe where demons can go that's even more opulent than the heavenly planets. But they have no knowledge of the presence of God. They have no knowledge of any activities they can engage in that will give them what the soul longs for. We're all longing for that perfection that can only be found in the origin of all. And so, in our pursuit of perfection, then, we do best to know who that perfect person, who that perfect being, I don't want to say soul, because Kṛṣṇa is not really a soul. His whole body is made of the substance we, as souls, are. But with free will, that makes us flexible. Flexible means we can take different forms. So just like Kṛṣṇa manifesting in different forms for the benefit of other living entities, we manifest in different forms for our own pleasure. And what we're desiring when we leave the body, and we're seeing, we're thinking of, then that pleasure becomes our next environment. And Kṛṣṇa explains that in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever we're thinking of at the time of leaving the body. And in effect, it's the same way we come in. What the father is thinking about when he impregnates the mother, he empowers the soul within him that is of that same consciousness. So, when we chant and we go out into the world, we are attracting those who are of that mind to find purity, to find God. But there are, as you know, by being exposed to society, that there are many more out there not interested whatsoever in who we call God, but in whatever form of perfection they are looking to develop in their own lives. Even thieves, they're concocting means of being able to extract what they are considering to be a means of livelihood, existence, right? And so it's also a form of slavery, though, which this whole existence of the physical body forces us to engage in activities to keep it existing. You gotta work for the physical body. And everybody is of that mind. I, me, and mine. Got to work for me. Nobody else is going to take care of me. See, this is where the institution that Śrīla Prabhupāda set up fulfills that description of it having been said of him that he would create a house that the whole world could live in. But if we're all pursuing our own individual careers, that's fine. With the intent of fulfilling God's will, that's fine. If we are in pursuit of our own careers to try and magnify our own fame, glory, and all these things, wealth, that becomes the reward. And then we have, in order to fulfill the desire that Kṛṣṇa gives us, the ability to find the fulfillment of through pleading with him to have that, then he gives us that which we desire. So we gotta purify the desires of our hearts to make the only desire we have to know Kṛṣṇa, to know God, to come face to face with God, to maybe one day be able to embrace the body of the Supreme Person. You know, we go on the altar and we dress Kṛṣṇa. While we're doing that, we can massage his lotus feet. We can think in our minds of how glorious the opportunity it is that we have the ability to sit at his lotus feet and ponder these things about him. Every aspect of God's personality is liberating. For the soul to meditate upon any aspect of the personality of Godhead is a liberating energy and liberating life-prodding force that will bring us to the perfection of life. We continue seeking that Kṛṣṇa is, that personality that Kṛṣṇa is, that relationship that Kṛṣṇa is sharing with us through that chanting that we're continuing in every day. So chanting is not always just the Maha Mantra as we chant. We chant many mantras, but in effect, our life is a song. If we're engaged in devotional activities, because the energy that drives the devotee to cook food is the same energy driving the devotee to sing. It's the same bhakti. So your life is a song from that perspective. The energy that you are putting out is a declaration to Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa, I want to please you in this way. I want to make a sound that's nice to you. I want to make something that will taste good for you, something that you will look upon favorably and find favor in and happiness from. Can you make God happy? That's the thing. Today, find a way to make God happy with you. Isn't that a great challenge to have? Every day, do something that in your consciousness, you believe God would be very happy to see you doing. And that's what this Kṛṣṇa consciousness movement is offering also. All the events we engage in when we celebrate are all celebrations of Kṛṣṇa giving himself to humanity and all the benefits of knowing him as a person. And so every day also can be a great celebration in that same way. We should be celebrating God's presence. We should be celebrating that Kṛṣṇa has found it in his goodness to open up his storehouse of treasures of love of God and made it available in the marketplace, free for the time you have to sing his name. That's all you have to do to know his love, to experience his love, to sing his name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And everyone we help to know that person that Kṛṣṇa is, the greatest way to give them that help to know that is by somehow giving them this Maha Mantra. So it can be in the form of a book, it can be in the form of a conversation, it in the form of a meal, so many things, so many ways, unlimited in Krishna consciousness. Look at the fields of professions available in every country in the world. And then read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and see how any of them can help you perfect your ability to perform any one of those 64 arts. Painting is an activity in the spiritual world. People paint like a form of poetry. Writing poetry is a form taken part in by those who are in the spiritual world. There are so many 64 arts we can take part in every single day of our life and know the blessed experience of holiness, purity, love, fellowship, association, health, wealth, well-being, protection, all these things that all human beings long for and look for institutions to provide them. They pay money to the insurance company. Why? So if they get in a wreck, they won't have to worry about paying debts. But they can't offer the same security that Krishna offers. This is real life insurance. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. This is eternal life insurance. When you buy life insurance from the insurance company, you're buying temporary life insurance for material things. When you buy Krishna, you buy Krishna by chanting Krishna's name. When you buy Krishna, you get eternal experience, love, happiness, satisfaction, and all desires fulfilled. See, ask for any one thing in this world and you get it. But ask for Krishna and you get everything. Because he's the source of everything. Everything's in him. So, might as well want the best, right? Might as well want, if you're going to want Krishna, you're actually wanting everything. Imperfection, he's that imperfection that we want. So let him be our desire, and pleasing him to be our desire. Then we'll get the greatest experience human life has to offer. Any questions, any comment? Any realizations someone like to share? Are you getting realizations in your everyday activities of how much Krishna is the ability in you to perform all these little deeds that we think that we're doing ourselves, right? We want credit for it. I did it, I did this. It's all Krishna's energy. And then we have desire. And then Krishna in us, enabling us to fulfill desire. That's the communion between man and God. But when it's based on a friendship, we don't do things for the hope of getting something from Krishna, other than Krishna himself. Because then we know in our heart that Krishna's presence is the fulfillment of everything we could want. And so in that we can see Śrīla Prabhupāda's obedience to Krishna has now given every single human being the ability to reason with their minds by exposing their minds to these transcendental literatures, the possibility of knowing eternalness and being connected to that energy that will enable us after this life to know in fullness the person, Krishna. Yeah. How glorious he is. How glorious. For us to be talking about a person who lived 5,000 years ago and still in the minds of those who are knowledgeable, that topic of his to be the most important thing for them every moment of every day. That's the energy Śrīla Prabhupāda reveals. That is the energy that he acted in obedience to, that he's giving us also the opportunity to act in the same obedience, to experience the same loving relationship that he's having with Kṛṣṇa. He's giving to us. He's saying, come home, and know the love of Kṛṣṇa. How powerful it is, and know how satisfying an experience Kṛṣṇa's love, revealing to us every secret of every path there is, every bit of wisdom that we may read in our future. We have knowledge that Kṛṣṇa, the consciousness that he's able to share with us, gives us the ability to be able to discern right from wrong, Maya body from impersonalness, impersonalness from personalness, and the end result of all these paths and where they are. You can actually, by Kṛṣṇa's giving you the means of communicating with these people, Kṛṣṇa can give you the understanding of exactly where they are on the level of love towards him, and thereby enable your words to be sweetened with the nectar that Lakshmi Devi herself gives to devotees who want to glorify Kṛṣṇa's name and who want to give Kṛṣṇa to others. She lets the words dance on their tongue that will bring others to Kṛṣṇa. In this way, see, we recognize the value of feminine aspect of Kṛṣṇa's own personality, but that's unique, you will find, to Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Of course, if you go to India, you will see worshippers of Kali, goddess Kali. And Lakshmi Devi also has worshippers and followers. But generally see these people as revealed by them, the masters, Mother Goddess Lakshmi Devi herself and Goddess Kali herself, that those who approach her for the sake of getting something in return are not as favored as those who simply take pleasure in the presence and the privilege, in having the privilege to know the presence of the divine and what Kṛṣṇa's presence brings with it. Because if you seek any one individual demigod, you get that one individual demigod. If you seek Kṛṣṇa, he is being worshipped by all 333 million demigods. So I used to say 33 million. And now we're saying this is a misprint. I have to reanalyze this in my mind now. Maybe it's 33 trillion billion, I don't know. But we know for sure, Kṛṣṇa gives us knowledge necessary. See too, in our pursuits to try to satisfy those people who with scientific, so-called scientific minds, are trying to pursue knowledge in the material world, Kṛṣṇa says those that study both avenues are intelligent. So, we reason by the conclusions they make, on what the desires they have in their hearts for the points they want to make about their conclusions. Because the fault with human beings is, before they find the answer, they've got a reason behind finding the answer, that they want to find the answer to prove something. And they're going to prove that thing whether the numbers say so or not. I had a friend once, he said, figures don't lie, but liars figure. So we can conclude from that quite insightful perspective that data, if we have the perspective to be able to see the results of data honestly, in an unbiased way, it can give us a perspective of what events cause what events, right? But if we look from a biased perspective, we're not going to see the true outcome. We're not going to be able to see the truth. And that's the problem in positions of government today. People form their conclusions before they even study the data, rather than looking at the data as the answer. They want to derive their answers by manipulation. And that's the cheating propensity of all human beings. And so this is what keeps human beings as societies in the world functioning to the extent that human beings can all be happy and satisfied, which is what we are seeing happens in Krishna cities. Everybody's happy. Nobody's worried about anything. And everybody's being totally satisfied with the activities they're being given the privilege of being able to involve themselves with. Because those activities are also beneficial to everyone. Any comments, any questions, any realization?
Thank you, Prabhu.
858. Jai. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Ki Jai. Śrīla Prabhupāda. Ki Jai. Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, liberator of the entire universe.